Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you kind of quickly how to create one of these cute block head figurines out of paper. So they are very Lego-like, but you're going to be able to create a character of your choice, or you could even make this a self-portrait if you'd like. And it's pretty simple. I'm just going to show you a few tips and tricks. You're going to start by getting 3 different tracers. The first is your head template. And one thing you're going to want to note is that the face is going to go into this center block here. This is going to be the bottom of the head, the back of the head, and then this will be the top of the head, and then these will be the sides of your head. So it's going to look something like this if you're seeing it with an image. Then you're going to get a body template. Your body is pretty self-explanatory. This is your front, these are the sides, the back, the top, and then the very bottom. And they will look something like this when you have your outfit configured. Then you will have 2 arms. They are pretty simple as well. Fronts, left, right, back, side. And then I have mine drawn out and colored like so. So I have one set up all together already. Now what I've done, you'll notice that you don't see the black outlines on any of my images. What I wound up doing was I didn't want to see, and I'll show you on the front of my Frida. I'm making a little Frida figurine, so this is going to be her dress, and then I'm working on her hair and adding lots of color to her. I traced on the back of the image. I kind of sketched it out and planned a little bit on the front of the paper, and then I flipped it over and took a light tracer, and you'll see that I have a light tracer right below here, and I traced out just the pencil outline very lightly so that I could get an idea of where the lines were. So if you're looking at a plain one, you do not have to do this, but I like to do it because, again, I didn't want to see these black lines on my project. So I have this small little light tracer here. If you take a light tracer, they are located near where you get your iPads. And I just traced the outlines. I'm not worrying about tracing the tabs because when I cut my piece out later, it'll be nice and easy to just cut from the other side. But I needed these outlines just to give me a sense of where each of the figures' lines will go. I recommend using a ruler so you get neater lines than what I'm doing, but when it's done, you'll see that you have those outlines. And then the same thing will happen where this square right here would be the face. This square is the top of head, side, bottom, and then this is the back of the head. Now what you're gonna also need to notice is that this is actually upside down. When we wind up folding this, it's going to almost kind of loop back around, and this will need to be upside down. So if you were creating something like a figure with pigtails, the pigtails would not go here as if they went off of the page. They would need to be around here so that they loop around. You can start to kind of figure that out if you wanted to cut some of the pieces out, but for now, it makes it a little bit simpler. Then, when you're ready, you can add your colored pencil and add your detail to your figure. So like I said, I have a Frida figure happening here. So I'm gonna continue with my black colored pencil. I'm just using colored pencils for this. I'm not going in with anything crazy. I'm keeping a hand sharpener handy, and I am just going through and adding as much detail as possible. You could go in with a little bit of Sharpie if you want to, but I'm gonna keep mine pretty simple and just stick with colored pencil. So I've been working all around the page and adding lots of color to my Frida. I gave her some depth in her hair by adding some purples and browns. And I'm going to continue off of these lines even though I know that they're going to be cut out later on. This is a colorless blender. There is no pigment in the point of these. So what they do is they are just there to help smooth out the area. They're not going to blend everything together. They're not going to push the color around the page much further than where it is exactly laying down. It just kind of acts like your finger and helps smudge everything together a little bit neater. So if you have an area that looks a little bit sketchy, sometimes a colorless blender is a good fix. It's not always, but every once in a while, it's a real lifesaver. I think it's important to keep your pencil sharp if you're coloring in smaller detail areas. So I'm going in and working on Frida's outfit here. This is her shirt area that I'm coloring in black. The green is her skirt, and then there's some gold details. And I just have a little bit left to go. Now when you're ready, you can start to cut your figurine out. So I have my arm cut out that I already assembled, the second arm. These are going to attach to the side of the body. I gave Frida some bracelets to go on her arms, so they're gonna wind up attaching around there. I'm also gonna make her some accessories like a palette and a paintbrush. But you'll see that on the back, you wanna make sure that you cut out the entire outline, including keeping the tabs. That's very important. So I'm just gonna flip mine around, and I'm actually gonna start by just cutting out closer to the template so that I don't have to carry around all of this extra paper. This can now be recycled. Now I'm gonna go through and just cut each of the edges, and I'm gonna cut a little bit outside of the line, being careful to not cut into the drawing area. And you can see that everything I'm cutting out here, it's adding the tabs to the back. So now that I'm done cutting out my template, you'll see that I cut out these little sections for where your figure's legs are. I decided to give Frida a skirt, so I'm not cutting out past the part where I drew little shoes for her. If your figure has legs, you can cut all the way up, and that will give it a nice divide. When you have your finished figure, you'll see that these kind of have there. You'll also see that on these sculptures, students added different things like hair and maybe some collage elements, some little gemstones and cute things. I'm going to add some flowers to Frida's hair when a time is coming, or when the time comes, but it's up to you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going through and I'm using a ruler to help me press the edges that are going to be folded. I'm folding on the opposite side, so I'm folding on the uncolored side, or this side that is not colored, and you'll start to see how this is going to take shape. So let me finish a few more folds and we'll catch up in a moment. It's important to pre-fold every single line so that when it comes time for you to glue your figure together, you will have a much easier time. I like to use Elmer's glue for this. Glue sticks will not work. You may also use a hot glue gun, but you want to be very careful because the glue gets very, very hot. So to make this go a little bit faster, I'm going to fast forward and I'll catch up with you in a moment. So you'll see that I have most of my tabs done. I'm just working one tab at a time, and I'm only adding a little dot of glue because a little will go a long way. And if you ever have any overhang of glue, I like to take the back of a pencil so that I don't damage the entire pencil, and I just wipe it off. That saves my fingers from getting any hot glue on it, and it will also make your project look neater in the end. So the body of my Frida is now complete. I may need to fix the hot glue area a little bit if it keeps popping up, but I have the front of Frida, the sides, the back of Frida, and then the other side. When you're ready, you can attach the arms to your figure. I'm just gonna add Frida's arm right around here. I'm just gonna give it a little dot of hot glue down the side. And like I mentioned, I might add a palette for Frida to hold and different things. Now I know my Frida head is not done, so I still have a little bit of work to do, but I hope you understand the steps for this project and I hope you enjoy it. I'm really excited to see her finished. I will insert a photo at the end when I am done.